Gouranga. What a story I've got to tell you. I've had quite an adventure, particularly since in 1986 with my brother Alistair set out to discover, liberate and share the truth about cannabis, marijuana and all related religions, philosophies, politics and crimes. Yeah? What a lot I've discovered. It's not just what I've discovered about the history of others, such as how the tobacco merchants of Britain caused half of the population of North America to be black. Yeah, man, that whole slavery thing was to make tobacco merchants rich over here. Of course, after the War of Independence, where all men were granted equal rights, etc., in 1775, rather a while before slavery was abolished. Anyway, America just took that power for itself. And it's not just, when we say America, we're not talking about the native citizens walking around in the streets in various forms of slavery. No, we're talking about a very small number of people who use the name America, though they don't give a fuck about any other human beings on any other piece of land than what they're on. You know, they just don't care about anybody. But they are our rulers and owners. And of course, I better be careful what I say, because who owns Google? Let's face it, spyware. Who do you think would be the first to have the very, very best spyware? You know, I imagine that CIA, for example, the FBI and MI6 and MI5 and Mossad, such chappies, would have had the very, very best spyware that's available now, long before the creation of the internet. That is, before there was an internet, intelligence organisations collected vast amounts of computerised data on perceived enemies and very often they create enemies just by perceiving as enemies. Anyway, it's well out of hand now, that whole intelligence thing, so I must assume that Google is watching. You know, if I use the word, I've already used the word Mossad, that's twice. Ding ding dong dong dong. Gentleman talking about Mossad on the internet. Who is gentleman? ISP. What's his IP address? Where is that? Get other computerised information on him. And do you think that the intelligence organisations, including the police, don't access your bank account, your building society account? Don't they know exactly who you've PayPal'd for pornography? Don't they know what you bought on eBay, what you bought and how you paid for it and what bank account it came from? Do you think all that information is all safely hidden away behind passwords? I don't. So I must assume that Mr. Google is listening. Now, I don't object to the technology. I think that the internet is absolutely fantastic. I think that the modern resources in terms of computing equipment, computing software, video software, audio software, transmission software, I think these things are all magnificent. What I don't like is whose hands ultimately control them. The history of the planet is that the corruption, the greatest corruption and crime is at the top of the ladder. It's not easy for an honest man with integrity to rise to a position of great influence within any of the authorised media or management networks, police, government, lawyers, social workers. Who's going to be honest, you know? See, the last time I smoked genuine marijuana, the guy across the room from me was a social worker. We were getting a great lift on it because it was real marijuana. This is 2007. 6. He confessed to me that he was paid a fairly good salary for supervising 6 homeless youths in a hostel. He was to prepare them for living independently in their own allocated flats. He knew that as soon as one of his charges or clients was given a flat, local teenagers who were still living with their parents would want to come round to that flat to use it for illicit drug taking. And I don't mean friendly drugs. And that the boy would not be able to run on his gyro economy, his welfare. He would be back homeless very shortly, and possibly with a criminal record. In other words, he said to me, I feel guilty, I know I'm setting him up for a loss, but he goes to work every day. So that's a decision you must make in this current political climate. Would you prefer to be in a respected job? Because if you would and are willing to take the opinions that you're told to hold, you can work in social services, police, courts, lawyers, solicitors, prison officers, people who transfer animals from police stations to prison to court. There are plenty of jobs in the system to control this huge population who are not employed. You know? And then there's all that lot over there that have got jobs entertaining us, unemployed. They just get caught up on having the latest motor car or computer or toy. You know, have all your children got iPads? Well, you're not anybody unless all your kids have got iPads. I mean, can you imagine being a kid of some of these big celebrities, like Cheryl Cole's pregnant, any day now there'll be a little gorgeous looking footballer running around, and the kid will have an iPad, you know. Where are you? I'm down at the bottom of the back garden. Show me. Put on camera. Hi Mommy, I'm down at the bottom of the back garden. And we'll come up to the house right away. Never mind, we'll just text you your lunch. Here you go. No? But I don't know if I envy people with this sort of life that is depicted as success these days. There's no privacy. You can be contacted at any time you've got an answer. Well, that's not very good when you're 17 years old and beginning to explore your sexuality or your intellect or your artistic tastes. You know, it's just not, it doesn't go towards making a man to have a phone call at 9:30 saying you better get on that bus now or you're getting it. You know, it was better in the old days where the next morning, where were you? Oh, I stayed over at a friend's. Well, couldn't you phone? But you don't have a phone, Mummy. You know? Okay. Did I tell you I have a really interesting story to tell in my rambling fashion? Yes. Well, I've been up against MI6, the police, the corrupt police and courts here in Scotland. The worst possible people have been put on my case. I don't know how far up the conspiracy goes or whether it's just a whole lot of independents kicking a man while he's down. But hey, I've survived. And most of all, I've still got that story to tell. And it goes all the way to Kathmandu, it goes all the way to Finland, it goes all the way to Vancouver in Canada. As I said, which was ignored in court, I was the first terrorist to be asked to leave Nepal.